Good afternoon, Jets Nation. Welcome to the Jude Jets Show. And the trade deadline is vastly approaching. So today, we're going to be talking about whether or not the Jets are going to be buyers or sellers at this year's deadline. So I think the New York Jets could honestly be a bit of both. Starting off with players that we could potentially be trying to sell. First one definitely is Carl Lawson. He was our big ticket free agent signing back in 2021, but his career at the Jets has definitely been interesting because we all know the offseason he was having in 2021, but then he tore his Achilles. 2022, comes back from the Achilles tear, has a solid season, puts up 7 sacks. His pressure numbers weren't the same, but the 7 sacks were still there. So there was hope that he would improve a bit in 2023, but he hasn't really done much. He's been a healthy scratch in 2 of our 6 games so far, and whenever he's on the field, which isn't very much, he's not really producing that well. He's took a big step down from his play last year, and overall, it would just make sense for the New York Jets to ship Carl Lawson, a free agent in 2024, to a team that needs some pass rush help and would put him on the field. You know, the Jets did a very similar thing to this last season whenever we shipped off Jacob Martin to the Denver Broncos. You know, he was just getting buried deep in our pass rush rotation. He was a talented player, but just wasn't seeing the field. So the New York Jets decided to ship him off to a pass rush needy Denver Broncos. So this is definitely something I can see the New York Jets doing with Carl Lawson this trade deadline. A team that I think he could definitely go to would be the Las Vegas Raiders, who lost Chandler Jones to all the crazy stuff that was going on with him at the beginning of the season, and 8th overall pick Tyree Wilson hasn't really been producing as they would have liked so far this season. So bringing in a veteran on essentially a 1-year deal in Carl Lawson wouldn't be a bad move for the Raiders. And the last player I could see the New York Jets trading away would be Dalvin Cook, and the Cook experiment just seems like it needs to come to an end. He was a very late free agent signing. Want to say we signed him last week of training camp, and there was a lot of buzz around the signing, both good and bad, because on paper it looked like the New York Jets were going to have one of the best running back duos in the league with Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. But analytically, Dalvin Cook really wasn't a good running back in 2022, despite what his stats said, and everyone was like, the New York Jets should just stay away from him, but other people were like, let's go out and sign him. I was one of those people. Next thing you know, the New York Jets do in fact sign Dalvin Cook, and it really hasn't worked out for them so far. I mean, maybe Dalvin Cook is producing exactly how the New York Jets have wanted him to, but I doubt that is the case. It's definitely been a lackluster season from Dalvin Cook. He has not looked like the once 4-time Pro Bowl running back, the 4 straight 1,000-yard rusher. That's not what Dalvin Cook has looked like so far this year. And it would make sense for the New York Jets to just trade him away, you know, get him some playing time. He is still on a 1-year deal. He doesn't have a team guaranteed for next season. So it would make sense for the New York Jets to potentially ship Dalvin Cook off to a team that is in desperate need of a running back and wants to take a swing on the once 4-time Pro Bowl running back, and just to see what he has left in the tank. We could potentially maybe get a 6th, 5th round pick for Dalvin Cook, something of that sort. But I do think it would make sense for the New York Jets to just trade away Dalvin Cook, especially with how Breece Hall has been playing these past few weeks, and with Israel Abanikanda, 5th round rookie, waiting on the bench. You know, someone that the New York Jets need to give a shot to. So it wouldn't surprise me if Dalvin Cook is a player we trade away at the deadline. But in terms of the New York Jets being buyers, do I think they are going to be? And I sure hope they are. You know, we have some holes on this roster, but one of the biggest holes the New York Jets have is at the wide receiver position, specifically the slot receiver, because outside of Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard, who primarily play outside, you know, we haven't had anyone produce in the wide receiver room at all this year. Randall Cobb has been terrible. Xavier Gipson has shown flashes, but the Jets really aren't giving him that play time. Maybe they don't want to give a rookie that playing time. I don't know what that case is, but he's not really seeing the field. Randall Cobb has just been terrible when he's seeing the field. You know, it's not the best look from the Jets wide receiver room outside of Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard. So trading for a veteran wide receiver who's had proven success in the league so far wouldn't be a bad idea for the Jets. And there's just a ton wide receivers potentially getting shopped right now, just to name a few. You got guys like Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Darnell Mooney, Terrence Marshall, just to name a few. And there's a lot of other guys in the league that are being shopped. But one of the most realistic guys and A guy that I do think is going to get traded by the deadline is Hunter Renfrow. And I do think it would make sense for him to go to the New York Jets because we need a slot receiver in this offense. Hunter Renfrow primarily plays in the slot. And along with the slot receiver, we need a guy that can create that separation, that is a great route runner, which is what Hunter Renfrow is. The Raiders also need some pass rushing help. So it would make sense for the New York Jets to give the Raiders Carl Lawson, and they give us Hunter Renfrow in return. It would be the best for both worlds. You know, Carl Lawson, not really playing much with the New York Jets, definitely would play a lot for the Las Vegas Raiders, and the same thing goes for Hunter Renfrow. He's not playing it all for the Raiders, but he would definitely play a lot for the Jets and get a chance to contribute like he did for the Raiders in 2022 whenever he was a Pro Bowler and had over 1,000 receiving yards. So I definitely think the New York Jets should at least entertain a Hunter Renfrow trade, but that's my takes on whether or not the Jets should be buyers or sellers at the deadline. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'm your Jet signing off for now. See you guys later. Peace.